U-Haul is the latest workplace to move towards nicotine-free hiring. That means people who use nicotine, whether that's smoking cigarettes, using e-cigs, chewing tobacco, they would not be eligible for hire. The new policy will only be in effect in some states starting next month. U-Haul says it's deeply invested in the well-being of its employees, but some people are now wondering if this new policy crosses the line. Now, some states already allow nicotine-free hiring. That includes Florida, Kansas, and Arizona. There's a hospital system in Pennsylvania that also has put this hiring policy into place. Job applicants are allowed to apply within 6 months if they become tobacco-free. Alaska Airlines also has a nicotine policy. Others are raising the question about whether this policy is discriminatory.
Is an addiction. Some people need it. Nicotine is an actual stimulant to the body. For a company to say we can't hire you because you smoke, I mean, I think that's, it's almost sort of like borderline discrimination.
The ACLU says these types of policies are intrusive because employers are trying to control what employees can and cannot do in the privacy of their own homes. The ACLU says that companies making decisions on lifestyle choices may open the door to other lifestyle regulations. Now, we told you how cash isn't always king. Plastic credit cards, they might be a thing of the past as well. Tomorrow, the future of tapping your phone to pay, and is it safer or more risky for you?
Rain arriving overnight and going to last to some scattered showers on Friday with a temperature of 50. Saturday, though, going to need that heavier winter coat with temperatures only making their way into the middle 30s. Some snow showers may mix with a little rain there, but temperatures recover nicely here as we go into Sunday and Monday. Those highs back in the 40s. Thanks for joining us here on the Now Indy. The news at 6 o'clock starts right now.
A social media policy is raising concerns among parents and the ACLU here in this Hendricks County School Corporation. I'm Call 6 Investigates. Kara Kenny will tell you why some say it's a violation of the First Amendment.
The Indianapolis Fraternal Order of Police proposing major changes to Indy's criminal justice system as the group says violence is surging. This despite homicide numbers actually decreasing in 2019.
A police chase ending in a crash that killed an innocent bystander was a case of mistaken identity. That's according to court documents. The new details emerging tonight.
The FDA banned some e-cigarette products. We will show you what will no longer be legal and what will still be on the market.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
They're trying to silence us on speaking out against them.
Well, first at 6, parents in Hendricks County are raising concerns about a local school district's policy that takes aim at what parents say on social media.
The Northwest Hendricks School Corporation is standing behind its parent code of conduct tonight, but the ACLU is calling it a violation of the First Amendment.
Call 6 Investigates. Kara Kenny has been digging into what's in the policy and whether it's actually enforceable.
Tiffany Matthews has been a vocal critic of the Northwest Hendricks School Corporation, both on social media and at school board meetings.
I don't feel safe sending my kids to school with anybody anymore because I don't trust anybody in this school system.
The district has faced sharp criticism for keeping Tyler Bruce on staff, a teacher and coach accused of sexual misconduct with a student. He's under criminal investigation, but hasn't been charged and denies the allegations.
And I have personally posted about Tyler Bruce.
Tiffany says at the December board meeting, the district handed out copies of the Parents' Code of Conduct, which was enacted in 2016. It says parents should not use social media to make rude or offensive comments towards staff members or the school. It also says parents should not use social media to campaign against or fuel outrage against staff members, the school, or policies implemented by the school or district.
And they're trying to silence us on speaking out against them and the way that they've handled the whole situation.
According to the policy, parents who violate the code of conduct can be removed from school property and even banned from school grounds in the future. Call 6 Investigate shared a copy with the ACLU of Indiana.
I think this is flagrantly unconstitutional. The overarching problem is that you have the government saying, if we don't like what you're saying, we can punish you. And the government's not allowed to do that. That's why we have the First Amendment.
Legal Director Ken Falk says the policy sends a bad message to students who are learning about the Constitution.
If a parent contacts us today and say this policy is in effect, and I feel constrained in what I can say on social media, they've been damaged. We could file a lawsuit against the school.
Corporation spokeswoman tells us the district has no authority nor desire to police social media beyond its own. Comments on corporation media considered abusive, profane, intimidating, rude, or offensive will be deleted and the poster potentially blocked from further comment. Parents are discouraged from taking their concerns to social media because that practice is generally unproductive and usually leads to rumor and misinformation. The statement goes on to say parents should instead take their concerns directly to a staff member or administrator.
We're trying to get things done. You know, they're not doing it, so we've got to find a way to get it done, and social media is the way to get the word out there that, hey, this isn't being handled properly.
In Hendricks County, Kara Kenny, RTV6.
Well, the district says it can enforce consequences if someone is exhibiting threatening or disruptive behavior while on school property. This can include removal from school property and banning the parents from school grounds.
It is unusually warm for January 2nd. It feels more like spring than winter, and those mild temperatures will play into tonight's forecast.
We've been dry so far today, but I'm sure you've heard rain returns to central Indiana tonight, and by Saturday morning, half-inch rainfall amounts are possible. But this is January. I want to talk about snow. This is typically our snowiest month of the year, with just under 9 inches of snow in Indianapolis, occasionally a lot more. January 2014, we had 27 inches of snow to juggle. Our next chance for snow arrives on Saturday. We'll have snow showers mixing with rain showers. This is what the unpolished version of the 7-day forecast looks like. I'll show you the cleaned up version and talk about the changes ahead coming up.
Enough is enough when it comes to the violence in our city.
The Indianapolis Fraternal Order of Police is calling on local leaders to address what they call surging violence in the city. This comes just days after IMPD released 2019 homicide numbers. Working for RTV6's Megan Sanctorum explains what changes the FOP says could help reduce violent crime.
Lives in our city have to matter, and people need to say so.
Strong words and a call to action coming from the Indianapolis Fraternal Order of Police.
There must be accountability when you commit an act of violence on another resident, visitor in our community.
But FOP President Rick Snyder says that accountability isn't there, and many violent offenders end up back on the streets.
But the broken system is letting them right back out.
IMPD released statistics that show the total number of homicides in 2019 was down from 2018. But Snyder and other local leaders say that's not enough.
There is a disconnect with the numbers that are being reported and how people feel in the neighborhoods.
According to the FOP, 153 people have been shot or stabbed in the past 2 months.
It is misleading to suggest that because your murder numbers are slightly lower, that somehow overall violence is declining. It is not. And not only is it not declining, it is rapidly surging.
We are fortunate, based on the number of non-fatal shootings, that we did not break another homicide record.
The Indianapolis FOP says there are several things that can be done to address rising violence in this city. They say they just need cooperation from local leaders.
I don't want to make this personal, and I'm not pointing fingers.
Snyder made several recommendations to curb violence in the city. He wants to establish a commission on criminal justice outcomes so current bond policies can be reviewed and violent offenders stay behind bars. He also wants local leaders to look at the juvenile justice system, state mandates with the number of jail beds in Marion County, and consider creating a public database to track criminal histories of suspects and victims. He's now waiting on government leaders to respond. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
And we reached out to the mayor's office for his response. A spokesperson said, quote, "It is clear there is more work to do. Together with our local, state, and federal law enforcement partners, we begin 2020 with a continued dedication to making our city a safer place for all," end quote. No word on if or when Mayor Hogg said will next meet with the Fraternal Order of Police.
New details about an officer-involved shooting that happened on the city's south side early Saturday morning. The man whom 2 IMPD officers shot is now charged with attempted armed robbery. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office says 2 men tried to take someone's vehicle at gunpoint. Then around 3:30 Saturday morning, 2 IMPD officers spotted 2 guys matching the suspect's description walking along Stop 11 Road. Police say one had a rifle and did not comply with an officer's command to put it down. The prosecutor's office says that's when 2 IMPD officers shot the man carrying the rifle. He has been identified as 19-year-old Isaiah Batiste. Again, Batiste is charged with attempted armed robbery. An internal affairs investigation is still happening to ensure the officers complied with department policy. New information, court documents reveal a deadly crash following a police chase was a case of mistaken identity. The multiple vehicle crash near Pendleton Pike and Newport Drive Monday killed 64-year-old Charles Alexander, who was an innocent bystander in all of this. He was in an SUV which was hit by the fleeing driver. Court documents show that police believe the man they were chasing was involved in an October shooting, but it turned out that wasn't their man. The person who ran from police, 24-year-old Marcel Carter, is charged with resisting law enforcement and reckless driving and could face potentially more charges, including reckless homicide.
RTV6 has learned the identity of the woman killed after a crash between a car and an Indigo bus. Police say the Indigo bus and car collided at East Michigan Street and North Davidson Street downtown just after 3 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. The driver of the car died after being rushed to the hospital. She has been identified as 54-year-old Cindy Evans. A young child riding in the car and a passenger on the bus were also hurt. They were both listed as stable at last checked. It is still unclear what caused that crash.
Developing tonight, we're learning that U.S. health officials will ban most flavored e-cigarettes that are popular with teens.
This tops the RTV6 news feed. Today, the Trump administration announced it will ban fruit, candy, mint, and dessert flavors from small cartridge-based e-cigarettes that many high school students use. But menthol and tobacco-flavored e-cigarettes will remain on the market. And the flavor ban will also exempt large tank-based vaping devices, which are mostly sold in vape shops, that are geared toward adult smokers.
Right now, a 14-year-old boy is in critical condition after police say his brother accidentally shot him. This happened on the 2700 block of Chamberlain Drive South late this morning. That's near I-465 and South Keystone Avenue on the south side of Indianapolis. Police say 2 brothers inside the home were messing around with a gun when it went off and shot one of them.
An Indianapolis man is charged in connection to an attempted armed robbery in Kokomo, but police need your help to find 2 other suspects. The Kokomo Police Department says 3 men wearing ski masks and armed with guns went into the CVS on West Markland Avenue in November. Investigators say the men demanded cash and opioids. Officers tell us the suspects then drove off in 2 separate vehicles. Police have since arrested 21-year-old Tyrell Bartlett of Indianapolis. If you know anything about the other suspects, call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-262-TIPS.
Noblesville police hope you'll recognize these 4 men. They are accused of going into the Noblesville Walmart, asking the salesperson to let them look at 2 iPads and then running from the store with those iPads. This happened on the night of December 28th. If you recognize these men, call the Noblesville Police Department.
Julian Castro has ended his run for president. Castro, a Democrat, launched his campaign last January. He dropped out after failing to gain enough support in the polls or donations to make recent Democratic debates. Before running for president, Castro was the housing secretary for President Obama. He had also served as the mayor of San Antonio, Texas.
Helping adults who have become disengaged with school or the workforce.
Coming up next, the program preparing adults to get back to work and the resources available that you can take advantage of.
I'm Brad Brown at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. The Indy Fuel opened their 2020 schedule at home. We're taking you inside the radio booth with a young man who has been around hockey his entire life, but here he's a rookie all over again. That's coming up in our Sports Extra Spotlight.
Not a lot of ice in central Indiana with these temperatures so warm. We'll talk about rain in the short term, but Saturday snow certainly a possibility. Doesn't look like a whole lot, but just seeing some snow reintroduces us to winter. We'll be back after this.
JanuaryIndyBoatShow.com. This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
For more than a year, we've worked to connect you to jobs and the training to get those jobs through our Hiring Hoosiers initiative.
The Pivot Re-Engagement Center on the Far East Side is targeting young adults who are disengaged from school or the workforce, an attempt to work with them through different available resources. I checked back in with Power Huddle to show you how it is preparing adults to connect skills with passion and workforce needs.
Right now, I call this the redemption stage. I've had a lot of bad things going on, but I'm trying to right it by using all the resources I can get.
Tamia Lewis is finishing up her week-long Power Huddle course at the Pivot Re-Engagement Center located at the Finish Line Boys and Girls Club on the Far East Side.
I came in here to help my boyfriend, and I was going to leave, but it seemed interesting, so I kept coming back. The fact that it seems like there's a lot of positives, it seems like they're very determined to help the youth. It seems like they really care, and they don't want to see people down in life. So I was like, this is something I can use.
This 5-day course is here because of a partnership between Employ Indy, Finish Line Boys and Girls Club, and the Community Alliance of the Far East Side. The Power Huddle is a bridge program to help young adults advance their life goals, whether that be getting a GED, getting into a trade school, enrolling in college, or finishing a high school equivalency. Tim Swain facilitates these sessions.
The Power Huddle helps them to go from what's oftentimes a fixed mindset to a growth mindset that enables them to learn, okay, what are the things that I need to know in order to position myself to take advantage of the resources available in my city so I can just, accelerate and advance my life goals.
Throughout the week, participants of this Power Huddle will do different activities to help with their job development plans, like these vision boards where they're quite literally laying out their goals right in front of them.
So at the end of the day, if we can help young individuals get jobs, get trades, and become, to have a skill set where they can engage in systems right now to help stop the cycles of poverty, stop the cycles of, sometimes crime and what may have you, then all we're going to do is just help our city become a stronger city that we want it to become ultimately.
Tamia is looking forward to advancing her career and learned a few things here that will help her reach her goals.
Sometimes you just got to dig deeper to figure out why you're stuck where you are and learn how to get out of that pit. After this, I'm going to keep in contact with them, hopefully get a mentor, finish my college, hopefully get my degree in accounting. So after this program, I definitely plan on doing a lot.
Out-of-school youth ages 16 to 24 are eligible to take advantage in the Power Huddle at the Pivot Re-Engagement Center. It is free with no cost associated. Participants will complete a 1-week course that runs from 10 to noon. Once they finish the course, there are other resources to help pivot the individuals involved to stay on the right path to reach their education and career goals. For more information on how to get involved with the Pivot Re-Engagement Center and the Power Huddle course, head to hiringhoosiers.com.
And we wait for some rain. I don't know how anxiously you wait for rain, but it's returning from southern Indiana to the north. Our temperatures, they're pretty much mild here the next 24 hours or so. Cold enough as we get to the weekend that we'll see some snow showers across central Indiana. Want to pick up the temperature. This is tomorrow afternoon. Again, close to 50, but watch the temperature just fall as we go through tomorrow night into Saturday. Temperatures will be around the freezing mark or a little above Saturday morning and not move much at all for Saturday. As far as our snowfall potential, a few tenths of an inch. Right now it looks half an inch or less of snow. That is after the rain. Right now, temperatures 48 in Indianapolis. The wind out of the southwest and the cloud cover is going to keep our temperature from falling off much. We had the sunshine this morning, clouds this afternoon. That turns to rain then tonight. As we show you the radar, not much happening in central Indiana. You have to slide to the south. Bedford, Seymour, Vincennes. It's the very northern edge of a large shield of rain that stretches down to the Gulf Coast states. Atlanta, Jackson, Mississippi, Birmingham, Alabama, seeing some heavy rainfall. Temperatures now, northern portion of the viewing area with cloudy skies, 45 in Logansport and Marion, 48 in Frankfort and Anderson. Temperatures cooler to the south in spots because the clouds took over earlier in the day. Of course, Bedford and Seymour, the rain is right on your doorstep. 11 o'clock tonight, more widespread rain, especially from Terre Haute to Indy and Muncie south, where rain is likely. And then I think during the day tomorrow, again, we'll kind of divide the state that way with the best chance for showers south and east of Indianapolis. There'll be another system that comes in with the colder air for Saturday to bring with it the snow showers during the day tomorrow. Temperatures mid-40s in the morning, not a washout at all. I think you'll see more rain as you head towards Cincinnati, towards Louisville, to the east and southeast of Indy. 35 with snow showers Saturday. As I mentioned, some minor accumulation. 44 on Sunday. Doesn't take long, and we bounce back. There are your snow showers. 7 a.m. Lafayette, Crawfordsville, Bloomington, Indianapolis on Saturday morning, and they'll continue sporadically through the day. 7-day forecast. Temperatures over the next 7 days. They cool off briefly Saturday, then they're above average again, above average right through the 7-day forecast and even beyond the 7-day forecast. Our Brad Brown is at the field house tonight. Brad?
Hey, Kevin, good evening. It is the Indy Fuel tonight, taking on Cincinnati, the first game of the 2020 schedule. Teacher Appreciation Night out here. Salute to all the educators from around the area as they get set to face off tonight here at 7:05. Right over my shoulder there by the big Garfield on the far wall is the Indy Fuel radio booth. Andrew Smith on play-by-play tonight. His broadcast partner is a young man who's been around hockey his entire life. He's making the transition now, though, from player to broadcaster. You'll know his name. Now let's get to know his voice in tonight's Sports Extra Spotlight.
He's moving his feet. That's his greatest asset. Get those feet moving. He's an impact and difference maker when he continues to do that.
Hockey fans will know his name, and his voice could be around for a long time.
The forward's going in. He's trying to make the initial hit, and it was a counter hit. Growing up, I always kind of found myself as somebody who wanted to teach about the game. And you know, when I was younger, I played a lot of video games. When I was playing, I would always broadcast and talk as I played.
Nick Olczyk is the new analyst for the Indy Fuels broadcasts. Working alongside play-by-play man Andrew Smith, Olczyk is sharing a lifetime of hockey knowledge with a new audience.
You have to be much more descriptive, right? Because we have our great radio listeners, and we also have those who watch us on ECHL TV. When a replay happens, you can kind of say, oh, look for this, but you got to understand that your radio audience might not be able to see that. So I think it just comes down to being more descriptive, and that's one thing that my dad has really helped me out with.
The reins have been taken off on the back end, the defenseman being more aggressive.
Nick's father, Ed, has become one of the best-known personalities in all of hockey. After a 16-year pro career that started with the Chicago Blackhawks, Ed is now the lead analyst for national coverage of the NHL. He also works the local telecasts in Chicago, so Nick doesn't have to look far for inspiration or input.
To have somebody of his ilk to be so close to me in a phone call or a text away to ask a question or to say, hey, what do you think? You know, it's been great. And it's a lot like when I would play, he was the first person that I would call after I was done playing. No different than when I'm broadcasting.
Nick played hockey from the time he was a youngster through college, but along the way discovered his true passion was in the booth.
I always felt that I thought the game more than actually what I could physically do. Like there was more up here than there was anywhere else. And you know, I just kind of knew that I had a mind for the game. Sullivan came across and made a beautiful pass on a mini 2-on-1 to Graham Knott, and then the follow-up from Coughlin. You love Coughlin getting to the net. The playing comes to an end at some point. You got to decide what you want to do after. And for me, you know, being able to draw on my experience and my knowledge to help people understand why things happen, that's the thing that I love about it the most.
Great stuff from Nick. We'll have plenty more for you coming up tonight on the news at 11. IU kicks off the Gator Bowl against Tennessee. They're down in Jacksonville. It goes in about 45 minutes. The Pacers, Purdue home tonight as well. Colts GM Chris Ballard had plenty to say today. We'll touch on that a bit in the Fuel and Cincinnati face-off tonight here at 7:05. By the way, back to Eddie Olczyk and our story there. He's got a new book out about kind of everything he's been through in his hockey career as well. Give that a read if you can. A lot of insight, some great inspiration there as well. Seems the only ice in our area is right here for tonight. Kevin will be back with another look at the forecast, though, when we come back as the news at 6 continues after this.
See a mutation? Ask your doctor about Pickray.
It feels like a Monday. I know it's not, but just with all the holidays we're coming.
All the holiday stuff mixes you up.
Right, exactly.
All right.
Tomorrow's Friday.
It'll feel wet tonight. Wet is wet, right? Rain is rain. Temperatures in the upper 40s, and then during the day tomorrow, we'll hit 50 early in the day. Periodic showers.
All right, just so we didn't confuse you, today is Thursday.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, right.
I need a weekend after all these holidays.
Right, it's coming. It's headed your way. We're back with you here at 7 o'clock.
We'll see you then.